Hello everyone, my name is Salim and welcome to the Markets Breakdown Analysis for Monday, the 4th of December 2023. We'll be breaking down chart and show the exact zones where price will close for potential buys or close below for potential sells as well. So looking at the previous weekly candle, the weekly closed bearish, forming weekly resistance around 188.280. And here's the thing, to be honest, at the beginning of the week, for the analysis posted for Monday, we've anticipated to see a potential weekly resistance to be formed. And as we can see, a weekly resistance has been formed. And the idea and the anticipation to see a potential weekly resistance came from looking at the price action that was formed back in November 2015. Now, obviously, the one thing I've mentioned is if you look back on the this previous data here, what we did see is we have this monthly rejection formed back in November 2015, and as we can see, this weekly candle, the previous weekly candle, tapped into this level but then retraced slightly. So the idea was, if a daily candle for Monday last week formed a resistance, there was a higher probability to see a pullback on a daily to then allow the weekly candle to form a resistance. As we can see, this was the Monday daily candle, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now, of course, we have the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the daily has been ranging, but for the most part, a weekly resistance has been formed. So now to break down the chart and looking at the monthly, obviously the monthly closed bullish. Looking at the weekly time frame, the weekly candle formed the resistance. Now, in my opinion, this is not really a strong resistance, but simply price is reacting to the rejection wick formed on the monthly candle formed back in November 2015. So now to break down the chart and going back to the daily, and what we can see, the daily candle for Friday closed bearish, forming a daily resistance around 186.970 within the daily consolidation zone that has been forming last week. So now to break down to the 4-hour time frame, and what we can see here is we have the most recent 4-hour support formed around 186.490. Actually, that's yes, 186.490. The most recent 4-hour resistance formed around 187.390. Drop it down to the hourly time frame, and now on the hourly we have some sort of a range to identify. So we have the most recent 1-hour support around 186.370. We have this recent 1-hour resistance around 186.670, and this is a really small range. So let's have a look on the 30-minute time frame. On the 30-minute time frame, we have a 30-minute support. So we do have this 30-minute support at 186.370, but again, a next level of support is too tight. So we're looking at like 16 pip range. So in that case, what we're going to do, we're going to adjust the level of support to 186, 180 or 190. Level of resistance remains the same, and we're looking on the 50-minute time frame. Now we have a 50-minute support and a resistance lining up together. So now to identify the no trade zone. So now what we're going to do here is, since this resistance is too close to where price closed on Friday, we need to find a better level to look for potential buys. Now the first thing we can see is we have this previous 4-hour support. So now the anticipation here is to wait for price to break and close above 186.810 or 820. So the idea here is to wait for price to break and close back above this 4-hour support, which means price will be retesting this previous 1-hour support. So potential buys could be above 186.820. Potential sells could be below 186.190, and this is going to be the no trade zone. And now to look for potential buys. Now, since the daily is actually ranged on Wednesday to Thursday and Friday, we need to pay attention to how price is reacting to this level. As we can see, every time a daily tapped into this level, we can see some sort of a rejection on the daily time frame. So what we're going to do here is, the first thing to identify is we have this rejection wicks on the daily around 187.560. Drop it down to the daily time frame, the 4-hour time frame, sorry. Now we have a 4-hour resistance formed around 187.370. Drop it down to the hourly. Now we have this hourly range looking at the 5-minute time frame and the 50-minute time frame. We have clean traffic, but then within this level, we have some sort of a range on the 5-minute time frame. So what I would say here is we have the first target for buys at 187.370, targeting this 4-hour resistance. The second target for buys, now let's have a look. So now what we can see, we have a weekly resistance around 188, 240, 250. Drop it down to the daily, we have a daily resistance at this level. And again, we have a daily resistance on the left around 188.030. Drop it down to the 4-hour time frame. What do we see here now? What's interesting here is we have this previous 4-hour support on the left around 187.790. Zooming in, let's have a look. This is roughly around 42 pip range. That's actually decent. Looking at the hourly time frame, and what do we see? We have an hourly resistance which lines up with this previous low volume that we've had on the hourly time frame. So I'd say the second target for buyers could potentially be 187.790, targeting the previous 1-hour resistance. And now to look for potential sells and going back to the daily. So since the weeklies closed bearish and the daily candle is ranging but still closed bearish on Friday, now we might see the weekly candle retracing, forming a top wick, maybe a retest of this level. But to be honest, based on how the daily candle's rejecting, maybe we can just see a retest at this 4-hour resistance and then see a continuation to the downside. So looking at the weekly time frame, the first thing we can identify is we have this previous weekly resistance around 185.130. Drop it down to the daily time frame. We have a daily recent support around 185.540. That's actually a decent range. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, what do we see? We have a 4-hour support around 185.800. Looking at the hourly time frame, and let's have a look on the left again. What do we see? We have this hourly range as well. Just adjust it to 185.740. Looking at the 5-minute time frame, that's the same level of range on the 5-minute time frame. So I would say the first target for sells could potentially be 185.740, targeting this 4-hour support, or even the daily support. But anyways, the second target for sells, however, we have this previous daily resistance around 185.320. Drop it down to the 4-hour time frame. Let's have a look again on the left. What do we see? We have clean traffic. Let's have a look on the hourly. Hourly, again, what do we see? This previous hourly range. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have the second target for sells at 185.320, targeting this previous daily resistance.
Dominion Markets, your trading sanctuary.